Hello, everyone. Hello, Callum. Hello, Nathan. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, very well. How are you?
Yeah. Did you notice that I didn't start this episode from Good Morning, Callum?
I was gonna say 2/3 of us. It's not the morning, so I think that's a very valid introduction.
And I also seen Nick Hill's message on the chat with "Good afternoon, team," because I realized we are international. We are right now reaching out to multiple time zones, and that's why we need to change. We need to adopt as well.
Inclusive. It's got to be inclusive for the planet.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not just continental; it's international.
Exactly. But thanks for joining, Nathan. Of course, we have a couple of news to discuss together. Different type of news affecting different areas of the planet ecosystem, Umbraco sphere as well. But yeah, it was a really nice and fast week, I must say. How it was from your perception, guys?
Yeah, it's been a big week in my part of the world. I think we're going to talk about it a bit more, but yeah, it's been an interesting week and a bit of change and new things happening for me. So yeah,
I was talking to someone yesterday who said, "Oh, it's Wednesday, right?" I was saying, no, it's Thursday. And for me, it's felt like it was Thursday since Monday. So it's been a really crazy week. I'm really looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, and of course there are some activities that might make this end of the week more attractive and happier. So let's kick it off, and we can talk starting from product update shared by Rune earlier today. Yep, basically, even everyone is back, right? So it's at least most of the people are back from holidays. Danish teams, all the Scandinavian teams, and also a lot of people who took the longer breaks. I noticed, by the way, Jeffrey's comeback. Did you guys see that?
Jeffrey Shoemaker's back after his 6 months off.
Speaking about holidays, right? Speaking about holidays, that's the proper way of.
It's gone very quickly. I remember talking to him in October or November, saying, "Yeah, I'm going to take 6 months off. It's going to be nice." It's like, oh wow. And then I saw his message the other day going, "Hey, I'm back." Like, whoa, that was very quick.
6 months. But yeah, time flies, and again, everyone is, let's say, most of us are back on track after the summer breaks, and Rune also attacked the topics which are happening right now around Umbraco, and of course there were and are some things that are being worked on, starting from some updates on Heartcore with the Redirects API. So it's been released on August 2nd. And when we are on Headless topics, there might be a good way to discuss the new team that is being formed right now. Another community.
This is quite similar to the... maybe we need a new name for these teams, because whereas like the package community team is very actively involved and sort of pushing initiatives along, these community teams are more of like an advisory board or more of a sounding board. So it's still a community team, but it's not quite the same thing as some of the other teams. But yeah, community team for the Headless platform, talking about all things Headless CMS. So I think this is broader than just Heartcore, for example. It's not just let's see how we can improve Heartcore. It's how does Umbraco fit in with the general Headless sphere of CMS, which is quite interesting, because of course on the roadmap is an open API coming some point in the next year or so. So Headless is going to be an integral part of Umbraco Core and other products too, and the ecosystem. So, yeah.
Yep, and we've been all discussing the things about cross paths between CMS, Headless, Heartcore, and products around the Umbraco offering. And here there is something in this blog post that who is an ideal candidate, I would say, for the team. And it's not so much about Umbraco, right? It's all about technologies which are around headless ecosystems such as Next.js, Netlify, GraphQL APIs, and everything, even mobile apps using Xamarin, iOS and Android. So everyone who can help generally for Umbraco ecosystem around the headless is probably worth considering joining. As we know, and it was proven already by Umbraco and the community teams that it works, and there is a massive boost around everything what is handled with the community teams. So if something like this will happen with Headless, I will be happy, because I'm looking for a lot of inspirations around Headless right now, and we know that there is a lot of the things that can be done different, better, and still done, right? So yeah, that's really exciting news. And yeah, we'll of course link this page as well where the form is located. So just to mention right now, the application closes on August 16th at 4 p.m. Central European Time. So
another week and a half or so to go. It was open earlier this week, so 2 weeks total.
Yes, 2 weeks.
Get your applications in.
Indeed. And new release of Umbraco 10.1.
Yeah. There's a release blog post for this, of course, with the video, the unboxing with Warren and Runa and Ronald, and it's sort of covering all the features, some improvements to the way that Umbraco works. Runtime modes is really cool, and I've seen Kevin Jumpers hooked into that as well with his new usync release, which I guess we're going to talk about in a sec too.
Yeah.
There's various improvements to the back office. I saw a nice tweet from somebody today. Was it Andy Booth? Somebody saying that a really nice improvement, and it's something has bugged me for a long time, is in the doc type creator when you're creating a new when you're changing the data type, there's got an X there, and it was never clear what you should click to go and edit the data type or remove or change the data type. Total mess. It's now got a change or an edit and a remove button, which is similar to how everything else is done in the CMS as well. So it just makes sense. But really great to see some little improvements like that. Yeah. I'm going to do an upgrade we've got an Umbraco Cloud site that's on 10 currently, and I'm going to do an upgrade to 10.1 today just to see how that goes, but I'm sure it'll be very slick.
Nice. And Nathan, what about your experience with version 10? I assume you were playing with some.
I was just thinking that it's really cool to see that the first minor release for 10 isn't huge. There's not a whole lot in there. I mean, that the version 10.0 release was pretty bloody solid. There hasn't been a whole heap of things coming out. It's really impressive, and I think it'd be good to see that continuing with the nice regular minor releases that don't get big and heavy. They're minor releases. It's really good to see.
Yeah. Exactly, and that it makes all of us happier and safer in upgrading, because there's not the whole world won't change when we install this one, and there's still a lot of things to be improved in the upcoming versions, but it's good to have it. And as you've Callum mentioned, there is the whole package world is also aligning to release. Kevin already released his versions, and we should see more of the compatible packages with this version, because it's not changing underlying ways of working, and that's completely great. Those were the 10.1 for Umbraco and 10.1 for Umbraco Forms.
It's coming on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's coming on the next Tuesday, and the RC is out.
It's been out for a couple of weeks. I can't remember the headline features of this. Is it maybe some editable records, something in the back office? Maybe that's on the roadmap. I don't know. But it was all the workflow improvements, wasn't it? Around
conditional workflows.
Folders.
Really cool. That's coming on Tuesday.
Yep. And RFC that we've discussed last week got accepted now. That means that all of the 4 initially proposed RFCs are completed now. And in other words, it means that the work is starting, and now officially is the time to await the changes to be actioned. So that's really exciting. Some updates to roadmap. New in now, it's block-based grid editor for Umbraco CMS.
I know this one's been sort of prototyped and played with, but so we've got a release target as well now, which is really exciting to see this hopefully come to life.
Not that far in time, right? Umbraco 11.
That's not far away. That's
1st of December or something.
That's not far at all.
Yeah. So the next one is implement extension APIs for CMS. That was moved from next to now, so it's being worked on now as well. REST API served from CDP on Heartcore and variant permissions for Umbraco CMS. That if I'm correct, that's the specific language. Yeah.
Variant permissions has a target release under it. Is that a mistake?
In the past.
No, it's 3 days from now. That's got to be a mistake.
That's just a target. It's
target.
or it might be included in the 10.1 and we just missed it.
That has to be a mistake. They have they have
hello, Umbraco.
they have showed this, or sort of showed this working in principle. And as Philip says, variant permissions is targeted for 10.2. So in theory, that's 6 weeks from now, so mid-September sometime, that we'll be getting that. It looks really great.
Yeah,
looks really cool.
But still a couple new things in next phases. Of course, the new back office now landed in the next phase, and also some Ajax features for Umbraco Forms. So more advanced forms on the front end as well, and roadmap history, redirect APIs, and one news that might be interesting to discuss with Nathan. It's mentioned here, and there was another blog post about it. So maybe you can tell us more about it, because it sounds like Umbraco acquires a plumber. What is plumber? and what does it mean for you particularly?
I think I've been brought on to fix some leaky taps in the kitchens. The new HQ.
or a leaky YouTube show.
Yeah, that's more like it.
So it all started with an axe.
And I mean, almost the ironic part is that when I was at university many years ago, I worked as a plumber as my that got me through uni, labouring for a plumber on a work site. So I've come full circle. I guess that the blog post there, the start of that, sort of says it all. My workflow package is now part of the Umbraco suite of commercial offerings as of Monday this week. So. Yeah, so I've
first of all, big congrats, because that means that all of your hard work. We've been highlighting your hard work all of the times with every plumber release, and again we knew how much efforts you've placed into this package, and how it was helpful and useful for people who suffered from lack of workflow management in Umbraco. And it, correct me if I'm wrong, but it all started with your needs, your business needs for exactly the same feature, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think that's a really useful sort of proving ground for anyone thinking about doing package work, is not trying to find some, try and solve your own problems first. And more than likely, if it's a problem that you're having, someone else is probably in the same situation. And if you can help them, awesome.
The workflow builders is something that's, I guess, become more and more prevalent in the world of CMS in, say, the past 3 or 4 years. It's something that people have become used to. If we compare to things like Logic apps or MS Flow and all those sorts of tools, it's something that businesses are really wanting to get hold of and control of those sorts of tools. And they wanted them more and more in CMS. And I know people for a long time have been saying to Umbraco, hey, we need like a workflow solution. And of course, you've filled that gap very, very nicely. And it's now great to see that being brought on. And I guess previously you were just building this as a hobby, can we say, like a side project?
Pretty much.
I was able to offer attention.
I was able to carve out a little bit of time in work time because it was being used at work. But on the whole, it was evenings and weekends and things. So I mean, that's one of the big benefits, I guess, not just for me personally, but for the product, is that it can have that ongoing focus and attention that it needs, really, to keep up with releases and make sure that new features and things are properly thought out and properly implemented, and not just done by me on a Friday night while I'm trying to watch football on the TV and working on my lap on the couch. It's like nice to be able to dedicate that time to it and do it properly.
And that's what I wanted to mention, because right now you will be continuing working on Plumber and also various other things, because with this acquisition you were also acquired. and
basically, I was gonna say, how Facebook bought Instagram for like suitcases full of cash? It's same
but
thing. I'm just waiting for Philip to deliver.
But again, that's exactly the same exciting when I read it for the first time, because it means you are happier because you will be continuing work on something what you've been spending additional time on, and now it will be a part of your main job. Then you are not changing that much, because you will be still working remotely, as you've mentioned on some of tweets, right? You will be still working remotely from the same desk on the same exciting things. And you've started on Monday, right? That's
started this week, and like I said, it's been a little bit strange in that I was in a previous role. I was in that job for like 13 nearly 14 years.
Mm.
And then I've changed jobs, but yeah, still come into the same room in the morning to the same desk. And a lot of the time I'm looking at the same things on the screen that I was before.
Yeah.
So,
But now you're raising bugs to yourself now. You know that. That's the perception change, right? But no, that's exciting. And again, we are
really
right now looking really forward to more amazing things. It was mentioned on this blog post that it was a high demand of requests amongst the clients and people. And again, we've been hearing about the workflows a lot, and it's really great to have this addressed directly by Umbraco and with Umbraco. And now having you there, we are more than sure that it will be evolved and addressed even more, which is exactly exciting.
And so Nathan, you've joined the should we call it the commercial packages team?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But so you'll be working not just on Plumber, but on that suite of that ecosystem that they're currently trying to build up. So we could call it DXP, or we could just whatever. But you're going to work on other commercial packages too. So that would include things like forms, deploy, maybe.
Deploy, yeah. I started having a look at the code base for deploy, and that's going to take a little bit of time to get my head around, because it's interesting looking at new things, but at the same time it can be pretty daunting. I've been kind of hopped up on painkillers this week because I've gone and busted a disc in my back, so my brain may not have also been working quite as well as normal. So it's been an interesting week. Splitting time between working and lying on the floor to stretch out, but
exciting.
I've been there, done that, and I know how hard it is to divide it. But still, it's just a beginning, and I'm sure with all of it, it's just a long-term vision. And also, what I highlighted here on the screen is like the whole commercial aspect of it is also something interesting, because we all know that there is a business behind the scenes, all of it, right? And it needs to be a business still. So there is a free offering, some limited functional, but still a commercial offer to be on top of that. And you will be also responsible for shaping it and working against that. So we hope that it will be some exciting journey, and we'll have ability to highlight it and of course discuss it across the community on Fridays umbraCoffees, and just feel welcome, even though it's 8:30 right in your end.
And it's not even late.
Yeah, so you are always welcome to join us and discuss everything what you will be doing. So yeah, once again, congrats.
Thank you. I'm sure I'll have lots to share in the coming months. I've got some ideas around some new type stuff. So.
And just to call out here, of course, it's flagged in the post that the commercials are going to change at some point, which you'd probably expect to align them more with what Umbraco is doing. But for anyone currently using Plumber, like that license is going to be honored in perpetuity, I believe.
That's my understanding, and as far as I'm aware, that's absolutely the intention. And that was always the licensing model. You bought your license, it's a one-off. So
yeah,
I don't think we could be changing.
Do you think we're going to see it renamed? Because like forms, of course, it used to be everything began with a C, didn't it? Like courier, contour, concierge, and then they were like, let's just call things what they are.
What it is.
Forms. Are we going to see it
workflow?
Yeah,
I think it would make a lot of sense for Umbraco Forms and Umbraco Deploy to then sit next to Umbraco Workflow, not some obscurely named thing that doesn't really
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I fully expect that there will be some discussions around name.
I think it's a good name.
I'm going to start those discussions because they need to happen.
But what exciting times we are living in. We will remember that it was a plumber before then, right? And it will be the discussions, Code Garden 2030. Do you remember when it was named Plumber, right? You remember?
What was that? Why would you call it that? It's stupid.
There was one guy.
Did it win a? Oh no, it was pre-flight. It was
the pre-flight one.
Yeah, but you created it for V7 Plumber originally, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember using that back on a site quite a number of years ago, and it was fully open source, I think, and free.
Yep.
Was it?
Yep.
And then Plumber V2 came along, and that's sort of the new incarnation that you've.
Yeah, and that was sort of the thinking. Well, if I'm spending this much time on it, we'll see if we can at least, earn something back for that time. So
Yeah.
But yeah, the V7 one, it's still out there. It's still alive, and I'm assuming being used somewhere.
Not supported.
3 years, but no, it's officially end of life as of 2 years ago.
Officially. Cool. So that's a great chain of news, and we have also another releases from this week to highlight. We've mentioned Kevin Jump. Kevin Jump already released the 10.1.0 using versions, and Kevin also upgraded a lot of other packages to be supported in this version. So using complete patch release, translation manager, and that's it. That's the whole list
this week. But only those three.
Just three.
Only three of some of the biggest packages used by the Umbraco community. Yeah, he's obviously leveraging these runtime modes and runtime mode validation, so you can kind of flag to say, hey, you probably shouldn't have this configuration option on when you are running in production mode, for example, which is really cool. It's great to see one package kind of out of the gate already using those features. So great work, Kevin.
I mean, it's also a proof how it can be used, right? We all know that the feature is out, but now it's a real world implementation and an example of how we can utilize it across our work as well. So yeah, thanks Kevin, as usual, for setting up the great definition of how things can be done there. So yeah, translation manager. The next big release that we've discussed previously in the beta or alpha, I can't remember. It was a beta version of 3.0, right, Callum? Of this headless package from
some kind of preview, but it's available now broadly for V10.
Yes. So yeah, that's it. It has probably all of the things which we highlighted previously, but now in the official stable version. So check it out if you are still interested in headless implementations outside of the products that we known and discussed earlier. And the next one is a global block list for a URL tracker. And that's interesting. I checked briefly on the implementation, and it's basically based on the list of paths and URLs that should be blocked in the most of the cases.
I don't often get that excited about SEO. And we generally internally have a preference towards using the Skybrid Redirects package because it sort of does exactly what we want to do, nothing more, nothing less, which is cool. URL tracker, of course, is very fully featured, and it's quite a different beast to the Skybrid package in that it's actually keeping track of which URLs are 404ing and then allowing you to create redirector action for it. The problem that I've found when we've used it in the past has been that list builds up incredibly quickly, like really, really quickly. And it's generally spam, dodgy query strings on URLs or /WP admin or whatever. And so this just makes so much sense. It filters out loads of those common URLs. So we'll definitely be installing this on any site we've got that's got URL tracker.
And again, there's a really nice documentation of how it can be used in combination of URL tracker and generally with the package itself. And it has 380,000 downloads, right? So
URL tracker is really popular. I mean, it was the original URL redirect from Umbraco for V4 or V6 or something. Ages.
It's been around a long time.
Yeah.
I think we used it at least in V6, if not V4.
If not before,
Yeah.
So yeah, great one, and thanks for releasing it. Again, it's here documented, and we can all use it and get rid of the spam in the trackers. So yeah, take a look on that, and the links, of course, will be down there. The next one is Skrift release from this 86th release, a little bit delayed in publication. The tweet was before the release of the document.
Yeah, time zones are hard, right?
Yeah, I've tackled the time zones cover today in this episode as well. But yeah, it was a mistake in the time zones, but it's here. It's released now, and it has two articles in this release. One from Jack about his newbie's perspective for attending Code Garden, from the arrival through bingo, talks, tips, and high fives to everyone who helped Jack make this journey and attendance nice. So it's a little bit refreshment after a couple of months already after the Code Garden, but it's good to see it as well. And the second one is from Paul. About package script writer, and generally we talked about this package a couple of times, but now we can in the structured way see how it's built, how it's used, and there's a lot of insights on how it was built, what is behind the scenes. Of course, it was open source, so it could be seen previously, but now we can see some motivations and also stories who helped Paul doing specific things. What is exciting journey to be documented like this.
And actually, the sort of journey of the evolution of this project has been documented quite nicely on the Umbraco Lab sessions as well, which are all, of course, on YouTube. Yes. There was one yesterday, I think, that Paul was showing up, maybe adding some new features or fixing some things. I didn't catch it, but yeah, go on the Umbraco community YouTube. There's a bunch of videos about this as well. It's a very exciting project.
And again, from the pet project and side project, it landed also mentioned on one of the .NET streams and shows, if I remember correctly, because Purnima was showing it, right, on one of the videos. And I remember how Paul was really excited, and it was great to see this work being highlighted in the wider ecosystem, I would say, right? So that's a really good work out there. Check it out. Check out the Skrift release number 86. Meetups are the next thing on our roadmap and agenda of the episode, starting from Umbraco Melbourne Meetup, which is a hybrid event on is date announced? Yes, it's 10th of August. Virtual and in-person event. Umbraco for Enterprise: How Not to Build a Website with and the UI Components by David. Interesting, and everyone can join because it's virtual. So. Check it out. Another virtual is umbraCumri from Owen and Sarah, and we've been discussing it previously. Just to remember, as all, it's about new and ready to use features in CSS by Elad. So check it out, and there will be a Q&A with Elad, so everyone can ask any CSS and not only CSS questions to Elad out there. And I've become once again a meetup organizer, a co-organizer this time, because I will be joining forces with Lars Erik and the rest of the Norway team in Oslo, and we will have a catch up where I will be there in our office on August 18th. So if anyone from Oslo and Norway is watching, join us.
It's good to see the Oslo meetup restart, because the last one that happened was in 2019, and I went, and it was me and Lars Erik and one of his colleagues, I think, and no one else turned up. So we ended up just going and having some beers in a park, like sitting on a park with some beers. It was very good fun. Very interesting.
Fun. Yeah. It's just a long time to go for a couple of beers in the park, though, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but still worth it. I remember how I was organizing the Warsaw and Krakow's meetups, and also we have 3 or 4 people. Then we decided to do a spontaneous live stream. Sometimes, that's the crazy initial times. And again, even if I've mentioned it to our friends from India recently. Even if it's 2 or 3 people and the rest is from the company, it's always worth it because it's still an activity that makes this present, visible, and people motivated to do more.
But
so
also,
here
persistence, like actually
exactly.
when they're regular, you get people that pick up on it and that show up. I can tell a story along those lines in a minute.
We will discuss that. But yeah, I feel invited if you are around, of course. It won't be virtual, it will be in person. So hope to see some new people out there as well. And there is one more hosted this month in Copenhagen. So it's on August 24th. And there's more info and topics and speakers coming soon. But there is, of course, a community out there. So another consistent opportunity to catch up and discuss things. So follow and observe if you are interested in joining the Copenhagen Meetup group. And Callum, the barbecue, barbecues discussions, that's something what you can talk about.
Barbecues are ongoing. We had a Bristol one last week, which was great. And that's what I wanted to mention. We had a few people that didn't know anything about Umbraco at all just show up because they saw it on Meetup, and it was a way of meeting people. And actually, it was quite nice to get to know people that you wouldn't have normally spoken to. Again, persistence, really important. But Umbraco Barbecue, we've got 2 in-person events coming up next week, London, and at the end of August, Leeds. Links will be down below for those to go sign up. We'd love to see you there. But also today, we're going to do a kind of, let's call it a virtual barbecue. It's not really a virtual barbecue. We're going to do like a Friday bar at the end of the day. I'll make sure a Zoom link gets shared around the various channels. I'll have to ask someone to put it on Discord for me. But if you'd like to join later, kind of like we were doing during COVID, just have a drink on Zoom. It'll be nice to see people. And wonderful Lottie that we all really love has brought the virtual bar back. So if you go to bar.umbracobbq.com, the bar is there. It's live, and you can tweet at Umbraco Bar and request anything from the menu, including corn, a burger, all kinds of barbecue items. So we'll hopefully see people there throughout the afternoon. And I wanted to also say that Lottie has now open sourced the front end for this. So for anyone that wants to say run
icons, right?
Run a barbecue, run a bar for one of their events, you can go in and you can make the relevant code changes to actually contribute and skin it and get it up and running, which is really, really nice work. It's written in Vue and some Sass, and it looks really, really cool. So big high five you rock to Lottie for that. But hopefully we'll see you there. Go buy Lottie a drink in the bar if you
Yeah, exactly. That's a really nice project, and it has so many usages in this world right now. That's exciting to see this being used for this virtual bar, and again, a lot of I remember it was a Code Garden last year when we used the bar.
It's been Code Garden, Code Patch, or any one of the kind of candid contributions events. There's been 3 or 4 events in the past. It's always gone down really well. It's a bit of fun. I don't know if the umbraCoffee command works. I'll have to ask Lottie, because we had that during Code Garden. You could ask for an umbraCoffee, a beer and a coffee mug. See if that comes up.
Trademarked way of doing that. Yeah. So definitely look for links. We'll be all tweeting, retweeting, and hopefully reaching as many people as they are interested in joining the forces today to discuss everything, and not only Umbraco related, but around Umbraco barbecues. And use the bar, make this popular on Twitter again, and reach out people who might want to join later on. And kudos to Lottie for open sourcing it. It's interesting to see how it works. So we will check it out. 2 more news to wrap up today, starting from Patrick. One more news in 2 sources. I just opened the new tab. Patrick is collecting an awesome list of Umbraco resources for V10, and that's something what I opened here. I don't know what about you guys, but I'm a huge fan of awesome lists of everything. Basically, I start them immediately. I see something awesome, I start it. That's what I do, and then I come back to that, and I'm looking for it across my start repositories. And here we have the collection of awesome Umbraco things, tackling the Umbraco V9 and beyond, I would say, so V10 included. Anything I didn't check the recent list, but it already collected a lot of useful materials and resources. Plumber is here as a back office extension.
Top of the list.
Everyone can contribute. It's open source repository. Pull requests are more than welcome. There are some of them awaiting, and there is a list for V10 that Patrick started to collecting. So if anyone wants to contribute, extend this list, change this list. Let's see what's there. There's the package updates for V10, and that will be a really great resource to show off and demo what is already ready for V10, I would say. So that's exciting, and everyone can contribute, as I've mentioned. So that's a call to action at the end of the episode. If we missed anything, as usually, sorry, and let us know. We'll highlight it in the next episode. Anything else, guys, to add from your side?
No. It's an exciting time for Umbraco. People coming back from we've done 2 weeks of episodes where it's like we have nothing to say. And actually, this week we had loads to say, which is awesome. In the holidays, and the plumber thing's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it is. Keep me busy. It'll keep me off the streets for the next. It'll keep me off the streets. Because that was obviously the alternative, wasn't it? It was that was my only other option.
Yeah, I was sharing the newsletter recently, starting about recession and will we code for food. So that's that was another alternative, and we'll see what will be.
I like
here.
food, so I would resort
burgers, grills,
food.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's exciting, and again, it's still the summer, and still some people like Lottie and the rest of the people who didn't take holidays yet they hopefully will have some rest, and we'll see more of it coming in the upcoming month, and definitely September will be already busy, I'm sure. So keep us busy, and if you will do anything crazy, interesting, hacky, or you will break anything with Umbraco around Umbraco, just let us know, and we'll highlight it. We'll invite you to demo it and break it and hack it live on YouTube. And yeah, we'll of course catch up as usual on the next Friday. So yeah, have a great evening, rest of the day, night for everyone, and we'll see each other on the next Friday. Thanks, Nathan, once again for joining us.
My pleasure.
Have a lovely weekend, everyone.